Good morning and welcome to QR5 Cyber News and the Encapsulated by QR5 blog. Today we have a special feature on an emerging cyber security startup in Perth, Western Australia. Cybernic prides itself on being a local Perth business, catering to the cyber security needs for companies of all sizes. It's rare that we have a CEO and a CTO in the same interview. Peter sat down with Hong and Hu to find out more about this dynamic startup.
Oh yeah, thanks Naomi, that's great. And yes, we're here with Hong and Hu from Perth today. They're coming to us pretty much live, although we're going to do a post edit on this from Perth. And Cybernic is a company, a new cybersecurity company in Perth. And I always love to listen and have great conversations with people from emerging companies or cybersecurity. Particularly here, we've got a link through Edith Cowan University as well. So great, welcome to you both to QR5 Cyber News today and our Encapsulated by QR5 blog. So welcome, we're very honoured to have you on the call today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, that's great. So we'd love to hear a little bit more about the company, and we love to have great conversations with people here, very relaxed. We've done some interviews with Craig Ford about his new book that's just come out, Vulcan, and we've had a great interview just a couple of weeks ago with Dustin Charles from the Zero Day Initiative. And so it's always great to reach out, meet new people. As I'm always saying, cybersecurity industry is so vast. No one person has all the skills, and no one company has all the solutions. I would hesitate to guess as well. But it's great to find out what's going on across the industry. So we're very excited to hear about your journey and how you founded the company and what your key areas and interests are. So would you like to introduce yourself? Would the CEO like to go first?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Hong, and then I am a CEO, co-founder of Cybernic. And we offer the cyber security solution. We are really proud because we are a local cybersecurity company. We based in Perth, WA. We started in March this year, 2024. But we embraced that stream for quite a long time. Very excited to be here today and then have a chat with you.
Yeah,
and hi everyone. Hi Peter. My name is Hu. I am the CTO of Cybernic. So my goal is to adapt the cutting edge technology into Cybernic and to providing the best cybersecurity solutions to all the business. Make sure that they follow cybersecurity best practices in the industry. So it's an emerging industry, right? And there's never enough skilled workers in this field. So
very true.
and there's more and more, you see that every day there's more and more threat, cyber attack happening everywhere around the world. And now it's moving towards little bit by little to Australia. And now, so our goal is to providing the cybersecurity solution. Yeah.
I came across you when I saw a post from Dr. Michelle Ellis, and she's always promoting the champions of cyber that come out of ECU. So I was anyone that Michelle recommends, I'm always straight onto very, very quickly. So I did my master's totally online from Melbourne, and didn't get across to Joondalup until I think it was when my graduation in September last year. So So March this year. So what was obviously you've got a passion for cybersecurity. What was kind of like the trigger or the key challenges that you faced as you decided to, you know, start your own company? I'd be very interested.
So asking about challenges. So when starting Cybernic, the challenge we had to face. First, I just want to talk about like we're really excited for it, but also the journey is quite tough as well. So we had to do everything by ourselves, like, you know, like creating our website, many sleepless nights. And then you have to do some like set up email company, do paperwork from the government, and then building social media presence, etc. A lot of things going. And then also the challenge we face with is about building trust in the markets, which this market is very competitive, cybersecurity market. And the last one is about awareness. So talking about awareness in cybersecurity, I might just let my CTO Hugh, he will just lead a little bit more about the awareness.
Yeah, so awareness, right? So we Cybernic, we have a you know, opportunity to have speak with many small and medium business owners, and what we often found is that they often had a misconception that they think the IT team, whether it's in-house or outsourced, they can cover everything in terms of cybersecurity. So we talked to them and it was like, you know, we already had an IT team, so they already covered cybersecurity for us, so we are safe. But it's not actually true. Actually, the IT team, we take care of the operation side of thing, which means that, you know, they make sure that things going smoothly, the servers running, the networking devices still can connect to the internet, stuff like that. They are great, but that's not enough. When it comes to cybersecurity, we need more and more expert in that field, which means that, you know, things like
collaboration,
preventing, responding to any emerging cyber threat, and also any, you know, some sort of advanced threat hunting or threat intelligence. Also, if you go to, you know, space like governance or pen testing, that's where cybersecurity professionals come in as well. But yeah, that's the awareness here. My point is that we need to understand that IT team they are really useful. They are, you know, critical, right? But they just take care of the operational side of thing. Cybersecurity team, they take care of cybersecurity side of thing. So yeah, but like, you know, we talk to the business and it is quite challenging to make them understand about the differences there. That's awareness,
but to overcome the
I think one of the challenges is kind of like breaking it down into simple, easy to understand language. I know when coaching my crew, we, you know, the things like the CIA triad, confidentiality, integrity, availability, you know, it's kind of like, how do you explain that in a simple language and I use the model of going down the freeway in your car, and we have tollways in Melbourne, and, you know, the number plate on the outside, everyone can see, so it's not confidential, but it's a very important part of the integrity of the system that then links through to your account details. And when you go down the highway, everything has to beep and work. So, yeah, I think when you're talking to businesses, it's really, you know, just my thoughts there that it's really sort of unpacking that in easy to understand language, that sort of and examples that everyone can get their head around, because it can be quite complex.
That's right. That's we got to translate from technical term to the non-technical term for, you know, business people, right?
Like using speaking English, so easy. And then to overcome these challenges, the one we just mentioned, the only thing we can do is like, you know, like transparent and like have a good communication, not just with the clients, even on social media, we have a really good communication and connecting with our audience. And then also just be ourselves, be authentic. That's what Cybernic want to be.
That's very, very important. Very important.
Yeah, very important.
So what are there any particular specialities you have in your service catalog in terms of awareness you've mentioned, but any of the particular key areas that are trending and becoming more prevalent? Or because I know there's a lot of talk about quantum at the moment. I know one of our ECU colleagues has been drilling into that, and there's seeing a lot of legal, cyber legal stuff happening now as well, and one of the areas I'm interested in is experiences and tabletops and those kind of things. So are there any particular areas of awareness you're leaning into there?
So talking about the awareness training, right? I think yeah, it's like a cliche, but human is the most vulnerable link in the whole thing, right? So in terms of cybersecurity, so if we do the training, we would focus on how to educate the people to stop clicking the link, to avoid phishing emails or spam phishing email attack. That's kind of thing. Because if you go out right now, you're gonna be it's not, you, Peter, you already studied about cybersecurity. We know about cybersecurity, but you go out there, there's so many people, they're still clicking the link every day. And they don't know, maybe they just get a photo, like a cat photo from their friend, or they get like a link look like a parcel coming to their house, and they click to that one, and then they fall into kind of ransomware victim, or maybe more major cyber attack. So the number one focus of the training will be phishing link training education, and down the road, yeah, for sure, we might we might helping people understand more. Then maybe use tabletop exercise for more mature team in the corporate, especially for incident response team. That's kind of thing. And also one more thing is that you see AI like ChatGPT, Copilot. There's kind of big thing right now. And still many employees, they put confidential data of the company into there, which leading to data leak, where big problem. So that's kind of thing we would love to cover in our training down the road.
Some demo.
Yeah, because it's pretty hard to get it out of the AI model once it's been ingested. So it's a very interesting challenge, that one. And like a lot of things, I think the products and the marketing obviously run ahead sometimes in the features and the competitive nature between companies to be first to market with a new shiny thing, and often the regulation and the process is kind of like following up the train tracks a bit too far behind.
Yeah, I remember when the ChatGPT first came out, they didn't put really good guardrail there, so ChatGPT just spitting out some random or offensive kind of language, which only happened for a short time, but that's kind of thing. I remember that.
I think it's going to be an interesting challenge, that one. What sort of are you targeting any particular market segments at the moment, or is it big business or small mediums, or?
So we at the moment now, so we open for on-site business, so small, large, medium business. Because we're gonna offer our cybersecurity solution. We're gonna tailor is the most important thing. Like we don't have we're gonna bring the we're gonna make them feel that like how you say before, like one we tailor the solution and we make them feel like the solution is gonna solve on the problem they has. And one thing before you mentioned before, I the one mentioned, but I forgot that was
one size on
so anyway, we are open for on-site business.
Yeah, because our range of service, right? We provide right now. We provide XDR managed service,
Yeah.
cybersecurity training, and SIEM deployment. So SIEM security information and event management. You know, something like Splunk or Sentinel. And obviously, you know, if they go to the market, SMB, they wouldn't care about SIEM, right? But SIEM is more like for more mature team, like in the big companies. So that's that service is for the larger enterprises. But talking about SMB, yeah, we have XDR managed service and cybersecurity training for them. So yeah, we kind of cover different sides of the businesses, like Juan said. Yeah.
Yeah, but Taylor,
we mentioned Taylor.
We're not gonna bring one solutions for apply for all of them. We're gonna make them like Taylor, make it a different one, and then suit with their company model.
Yeah, correct.
Structure.
I think it's important because, you know, as I look around, you know, I occasionally hear things like, oh, this company over here with, you know, $10-20 million of budget, you know, got knocked over. What chance have I got, you know, in my little part of the world? And you just think, well, you know, that the whole issue here is, you know, don't compare yourself to other big companies, and that every company is in charge of its own risk and has to, you know, assess the risk, you know, understand the risk, you know, identify the risk, understand it, put the controls around it. And as you said, every company is different, so there's no kind of one size fits all. And really, you know, having the discipline to actually build those bespoke solutions and you know, tailor them to the needs of your clients is really important to be able to do that. So well done.
Correct. Yeah, different companies, they have different teams, different budget, different resources.
Yeah, different.
And different risk residual, right? Or on some they call it risk appetite. Yeah, which means that how much risk they accept to have. And depending on that, you're gonna put different controls.
Yeah, and also they got different situations. Yeah, before they came to us, like different things happen. So we had to tailor, make a different one.
Yeah. So one of the things I've been tracking kind of as an issue was some of the APRA audits that they were doing, the CPS 234, which is the financial regulation one, and APRA, the Australian Prudential Regulatory Authority, were going through some of the top approved deposit taking institutions, and they were going through them systematically and saying, you know, everyone needs to get their house in order because, you know, I can see why. So they were going through them, and some of the outcomes were quite interesting in that there was a fair, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me here because I looked at the first one, but there was a fairly high percentage of people, I think it was around 30-40%, that either didn't have an incident response plan and had never tested it. And, you know, that's kind of, so what APRA were doing is trying to give people a bit of runway to get their house in order before they kind of crack down a bit harder, one would think, once they've done their audit and gone through everyone. So I think in awareness training, I'm kind of seeing the opportunity to really help them do the practice runs on their tabletop, you know, with their incident response plan, because I think, you know, if you look at what happened last week, I don't really want to get into it too much with the people at CrowdStrike, probably everyone's still a bit gun shy about talking. It was a terrible, terrible incident on Friday. But when you look at it, you know, not having your BitLocker keys accessible to find them, you know, that's something which you probably didn't, you know, a lot of companies just didn't think of, but it should be there in the incident response plan, right? So to know, having the BitLocker keys and not being able to be found quickly was one of the key downstream effects of what occurred. So point there, but, you know, coming back to, you know, in awareness, having the tabletops and the experiences, that's something I'm very passionate about in actually testing incident response plans. Did you have any thoughts on that at all? Or?
Yeah, so talking about tabletop exercise, right? Yeah, so I think if we're talking about that one, the best one, we would start with Mitral attack framework.
Okay.
Use Mitral attack framework, then you can define, what kind of technique, and procedure that the cyber threat might impact the business, right? And then from there, you can develop some sort of how do you call it, like hypothetical scenarios. And from there, you assign different roles for different people in the team, and then everyone one gonna acting as a technical specialist, one gonna acting as a incident handler, and we need to make sure that everyone know what to do when the crisis happen. And I think that's the main purpose of the tabletop exercise. And again, the starting point would be, if I do that, I will start with the Mitral attack framework and tailor to the specific scenario for businesses. Yeah. How about you? What do you think, Peter?
Well, I'm very big on gamified. So I'm working with at the moment a bunch of neurodivergent people at an organization called Crank No Barriers. We're doing cybersecurity coaching, and we go through a process of sort of teaching cyber through the lens of games. So one of the things that we're doing is having every game has got a little game map up in the corner. So we built out a game map for people to follow that's going to represent every aspect of the industry. And quite often neurodivergent people will have hyper-focused problem solving, they're good with puzzles and data recognition. So ideally suited to that skill set is ideally suited to a number of the disciplines in that skill shortage you talked about before. So people like the Australian Skills Directorate and even the Australian Federal Police now have a internship directly for people with autism into cyber. So we're kind of exploring those kind of things. So for me, I like a gamified approach to it. So we use a few games and things and labs to look through. When you get two young people on the big board, we've got this beautiful touch sensitive screen that we can use, and we can and when you get two people going up against each other, attacking and defending an oil and gas pipeline, it's sort of it's a big aha moment. And I did want to just ask you briefly. My crew were in the TET CTF, which was the one for Vietnamese New Year back in February, and we actually did pretty well in that.
I think when I left Vietnam to come to Australia, it was in 2020, and back then cybersecurity wasn't a thing in Vietnam. So mainly people there, they kind of focus more on networking, cloud, and 80% of I remember 80% of my classmates, they became a developer, or code. But it sounds really promising that more and more people take it, in Vietnam, take cybersecurity more seriously. And doing CTF. Wow, I
think it's picking up though, because if you look at CTF Time, which is something I follow very closely for the Capture the Flags, it's a website that has a global stack rank of all the Capture the Flag teams around the world, and Indonesia is number 6 and Vietnam's number 7 on the list of the most number of teams competing in CTFs in 2024. So that's that kind of surprised me a little bit, because you'd expect US, Australia, China. Australia's way down the list, but I don't know how far down the list we are. But Australia do pretty well around the competition. We've got some very good teams here in Australia. But yeah, it was kind of some of our close Asian neighbours were doing very well, I thought. So that's quite exciting. Yeah, so look, it's been great to just get to know you a little bit today, and I hope that we can keep in touch and continue the conversation as your company grows and hits each milestone. We would love to be cheering you on and celebrating that. So, any final thoughts from you before we sign off?
Yeah. So finally, yeah, thanks for having us today, Peter, and QR5. So again, yeah, I believe that Cybernetics, the goal is that we will promote. It's not just that it's not just our company, right? It's about cybersecurity industry as a whole, which we believe that in the next 5 years, 10 years, cybersecurity going to become people take it more seriously when it become at least number one thing is when people think about their system and data. And yeah, I think we already have something going on, right? AI, cyber attack we see every day. So I believe that it's will become the most important industry in IT. And yeah, I think just best of luck to you, Peter, and QR5 in your career. And Hon, you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, like our slogan is like your data, our security. It means like putting the customer first and stay resilient is our key to our success.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us today, Peter. Hopefully we'll do with you for more and more in the future. More talk like that. It's very nice.
Well, I'd love to come back across to Perth again for another trip, and I really enjoyed that. When I come across for my graduation, it was kind of like I think it had been 25 years or something since I've been to Perth, and it was such a beautiful city, and lots going on over there, and you've got a big mining boom.
Yeah, cool. Here we have beer.
Yeah.
Green metals mining boom just happening to the north of you there. It's all going to be going off. So yeah, so thanks for joining us, and have a great week, and we'll follow your progress and growth with great interest. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to be there.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Thanks for joining us once again. We trust you are enjoying our content on all things CTF, tabletop exercises and cyber games. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe and share. It's good night from Peter, and good night from me. Please join us again soon.